Attention! Welcome to the Pathfinder Guru podcast, and thank you very much for joining us. In today's episode, we are going to talk about drilling and marching, but I just don't want to dive in too deep. I just want to touch on habits that we have made normal when we talk about drilling and marching. The goal is to help you to understand that sometimes when we learn things, we even learn habits that should be removed so that we can have a smooth and clean drill when we are marching, when we are performing and executing each and every move. And I decided to do this being aware that the conference, we are having a camp, and once we go there as adventurers and pathfinders, we need to prepare ourselves so that we can let go of these habits or try our best to minimize them as much as possible. Now, the first thing that we have made normal is that when we are marching or at a halt, instead of us saying about 10, we say right about 10. Now, there's a difference between about 10 and right about 10. Now, in most cases, when you use the right about 10, putting the right before the about 10, it is when you are training children or when you are training leaders who do not know how to march, that when we are doing an about 10, to execute this move, you need to turn to your right. We are using your right side to turn. Hence, we utilize the word right about 10. But once the leader or the child is now familiar with the drilling and marching, you don't necessarily need to say right about 10. You can simply say about 10, about 10, instead of you saying right about 10. Because now you are now confident that the child or the leader understands that when I say about 10, to execute this move, he or she will turn using the right side of his body to turn. So hence, we use the right about 10 when we are training and about 10 when children or leaders are better at drilling and marching and knowing all the moves and how to execute it. Second, we are using hold check instead of halt check. Now, most of the time when we are marching, left, right, left, right, left, hold check, 1, 2. Now, we have been doing this all wrong because we have been using hold check instead of halt. Now, that one, it is not because we were training, I'm not sure. But I also learned this later on in my life where I was watching movies when the soldier or the captain, the general commands or sends an instruction that to stop the troops, and especially if it's a bigger number, you would hear them shouting, halt, 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 and all of them will stop. So that's where I learned it. And I'm not saying that you are going to forget it or you are not going to use it as much as you have remembered it, because sometimes to change things that you already know becomes a problem. But eventually, if you acknowledge it and slowly but surely try to use the correct wording, things become much more easier for you. Third, when we are going to camp or when we are going to fair, we need to stop using preparatory commands. Now, once we are at fair, there is no need for us to be saying, we are going to turn to the right, 10. You are now saying when you reach a Pathfinder fair that I have well-trained Pathfinders who understand what they need to do. I do not need to prepare them before the execution, what's going to happen. Hence, that right about 10 comes in, because you're also reminding them that no, you need to turn to your right. And also the counting, you need to reduce it as much as possible. Example, right 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, left 10, 1, 2, 3, 1. But once the children understand that when you turn to the right, you are counting this much, or it takes this certain amount of time to execute the move. Once you reach events like Pathfinder Fair, when they are checking the drilling and marching and so forth, that's where you need to be smooth. Everyone is in understanding. When the commander or the marshal says right 10, when it's right 10, you just change. Right 10, clue, clue. Left 10, clue, clue. About 10, clue, clue. Forward, march, clue, 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 clue. Hold, check, clue, clue. See? It's even difficult for me to change the hold check to hold check, because that's something that we are used to. Then it becomes difficult for us to change. So once you reach Pathfinder Fair, you do not need to prepare them, because now they are well trained. But once you're still training, you can even read this in the drill manual, where you are able to understand this, which I'm talking about. Now, once they have mastered everything, the counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, they reduce, because now they know they can even count from themselves, because it's already automatic in their head. So things become much more easier. Thank you very much. I just wanted to share these 3 points about drilling and marching, things which I believe are key and which that they can assist us as we are heading to the camp that is about to come when school closes. But I believe that once we are able to work one another, to fix our small mistakes there and there, brush up there and there, and improve there and there, we are able to create safer clubs, safer ministries, because we are willing to learn, willing to relearn, and so that we can be better people. You are dismissed.